I will say my balls are hanging a little lower tonight with my fly the W pick and Willson Contreras too in this one because holy shit did he look good. But guys, I mean, first inning was really where all the fireworks were. I mean, 8 runs in the first inning. Obviously, all of that capped off by the Willson Contreras grand slam. He's only like the 5th leadoff hitter to hit a grand slam in the first inning since like 1974 or some crazy shit like that. I thought I saw on the broadcast tonight. A fun little fact, first to do it since George Springer did it back in 2016 for the Houston Astros. So kind of a little fun fact there with what Willson Contreras did tonight. But guys, I think that's a great place to start the conversation here. Obviously a huge win. We'll talk a little bit about the pitching because Wade Miley absolutely fucking shoved. But, dude, Willson Contreras, game in and game out right now, is just he's begging the Cubs to extend him. 906 OPS after tonight's game. That just gets better off the number that Taylor McGregor said before the game, and she tweeted out, among qualified catchers with at least 100 plate appearances in the major leagues this year, Willson Contreras is by far and beyond the best in terms of OPS. He had an 872 coming into action tonight. Obviously, as we mentioned, that's already above 900 now because of his double and his grand slam. But guys, like he's literally outplaying every catcher in the big leagues right now. Like JT Real Muto can't even sniff his jockstrap. It's that crazy. So I'm going to open the floor up to you guys. How are we feeling about Willson Contreras right now?
Excellent. There's no other way to feel. I mean, his 100th bomb tonight of his career, which made him super emotional. Obviously, you saw it when they panned the camera over to the dugout. And he was real emotional. Ian Happ giving him the hug in the dugout. Incredible stuff. Honestly, there's no other way to put it. He just missed a home run his first at-bat. And like you said, how rare is it for a leadoff guy to get the grand slam there? Because you don't get the opportunity most of the time when you're a leadoff guy. So that just speaks to the productivity of the lineup tonight as a whole. But Willson Contreras, like you said, not going to cover off the ball, the OPS and all that. He's the most valuable catcher in baseball, in my opinion, this season, not just from the hitting standpoint, but, because he is such a good defender and a game caller, and he really controls the team. He's the leader of the team at this point. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's Willson Contreras' team, which is why we should be looking to extend him, if we're being honest. And I don't know if we want to get into that entire conversation tonight. We probably don't. But, you look at that, you hang them, we bang them. You can't make a mistake to Willson Contreras right now. There was an absolute moonshot. He had 2 of the 4 hardest hit balls of the night tonight, and the 2 furthest distances because of his first at-bat in that inning. So Contreras is playing out of his mind, and you just love to see it.
Yeah, he's aging like fine wine right now. He just turned 30 years of age, and he's arguably playing some of the best baseball of his entire career. Juice, how are you feeling about old boy Willie?
Everything Joey just said is spot on. But the fact of it is you just said it. He's 30 years old, and Cub fans are going to be extremely disappointed when he is traded. Because if they don't contend, they are going to trade Willson Contreras strictly because all the things Joey said. He's hitting. He's at a prime position for hitting. And you can't find a lot of guys out there. And if the Cubs are truly that interested in bringing back Willson Contreras in terms of a DH, because let's be honest, there's going to be time down the road where he doesn't age at the point where he can play catcher every day, and he's going to have to be a DH. So if that's the case, you're probably better off letting him hit the market and let the market decide it and then matching it, if that's the case of what you want to do. Because if the Cubs come to him with a number that is lower, that is probably more in the market like they did with Bryant and Rizzo and Baez, well, Baez ended up having a little bit over, but if it like the Bryant and the Rizzo deal, I think it's just going to upset Willson in a lot of ways. But if he gets that news from a different team that, hey, this is your market, you're probably more likely to bring him back. I just think that like all his extension and him being a Cub for, the foreseeable future all depends on them competing. And if we've seen what we've seen over the course of, a little under 40 games, or are we at 40 games, whatever, but
a little under.
with that said, like this doesn't look like a team that is legitimately going to contend for a playoff spot if things don't start to go better. You know, if this trend continues, they're going to be a middling team that probably drafts up close to the same place that they drafted last year. So with that said, it comes down to the conversation we had on the last show, or maybe it was the show before talking about Willie. When does Jed Hoyer think they can contend? Because if it's not within the next 2 years, none of this matters. And you're going to have to let him, you know, hit the market for nothing or trade him, which, like we said, Jed Hoyer's just not going to let happen. So I love it, and I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it. But in the back of my mind, I have this enjoy it now because we won't be seeing it for much longer feeling in my gut, because that's kind of what the front office has given us in the last few years.